Tahoe stared at his data terminal, the soft blue glow illuminating his concerned face. As the youngest archivist in the Doran Science Academy, he wasn't supposed to question patterns, just organize them. But these anomalies couldn't be ignored. The quiet hum of the archive room usually calmed him, but today it only added to his unease. For weeks, he had noticed something strange in the old records. Patterns that shouldn't be there. Signals that repeated in ways that natural phenomena simply wouldn't. He rubbed his tired eyes and checked the time. Most of the senior staff had gone home hours ago. Only the night security remained, making their rounds through the vast library of Doran scientific history. Tahoe pulled up another file, this one from 47 years ago. There it was again. The same subtle pattern of radiation bursts that appeared just 3 months before the breakthrough in fusion technology. He had found similar patterns before every major scientific advancement their civilization had made in the past 5 decades. The young archivist's heart raced. This couldn't be coincidence. He gathered his courage and his data pad, then walked quickly through the empty halls to Director Ju's office. Light still shone from beneath her door. "Director Ju, may I have a moment?" Tahoe asked, hovering at the entrance to his supervisor's office. The older Doran looked up, her facial ridges twitching with mild annoyance. "What is it?" "Archivist Tahoe. It's quite late. I've found something in the historical electromagnetic records. Patterns that repeat every 4.2 cycles. They've been appearing for nearly 50 years. Natural phenomena." Ju dismissed with a wave of her 6-fingered hand. She turned back to her own work, clearly expecting him to leave. Tahoe didn't move. Instead, he placed his data pad on her desk and activated the holographic display. Colorful patterns floated in the air between them. "With respect, Director, they correlate perfectly with our major technological breakthroughs. The first fusion reactor, quantum communications, gravity manipulation." Ju's posture stiffened as she examined the display more carefully. The correlation was unmistakable, once pointed out. The signals always came first, then the breakthrough followed. This could be explained by increased solar activity affecting our scientists' brainwaves, she suggested, but her voice lacked conviction. Tahoe took a deep breath. "I thought of that. But the signals are too regular, too precise." He touched the display, bringing up a new set of data. "And there's more. I've run the patterns through our advanced decryption matrix. They contain mathematical sequences, messages." The color drained from Ju's face. Her facial ridges flattened against her head, a sign of extreme shock in their species. "We are not alone." "No, Director, I don't think we are," Tahoe agreed quietly. Jihu rose from her desk and walked to the window. Outside, the 3 moons of Doran shone brightly in the night sky. For generations, their people had wondered if other intelligent life existed among the stars. Now they had their answer. "How did you find this?" she asked without turning. "I was organizing the old astronomical surveys. The patterns were subtle, just variations in background radiation. But once I wrote a program to look for repetitions across different time periods, they became obvious." Jihu turned back to face him. "And the mathematical sequences, you're certain they're not just random?" Tahoe nodded. "They follow prime number patterns, then shift to geometric progressions that exactly match our mathematical understanding at each point in history. As our mathematics advanced, so did the complexity of the patterns, almost as if they were teaching us." Ju finished his thought. The implications hung heavy in the air between them. If these signals contained knowledge, and if they preceded their scientific breakthroughs, then much of what the Dorans thought they had discovered themselves might have been guided. "Who knows about this?" Ju asked sharply. "Only me. And now you," Tahoe replied. Jihu stared at the display for a long moment. "Tomorrow, you will present this to the Science Council. Tonight, you will tell no one. Do you understand?" Tahoe nodded, suddenly feeling the weight of his discovery. Everything would change now. As he returned to the archive room to secure his findings, Tahoe looked up through the glass ceiling at the stars above. For the first time, he felt watched. Somewhere out there, someone, or something, had been observing them, perhaps guiding them, for half a century. And he couldn't help but wonder, why now? Why had he been the one to discover this pattern after 50 years? Was it coincidence, or was it because whoever was watching had decided it was finally time for the Dorans to know they weren't alone? The Central Government Assembly Chamber had never been so full. Representatives from all 7 continents crowded around as Minister Sunwoo addressed them. The room buzzed with nervous energy. 3 days had passed since Tahoe's discovery had been brought to the Science Council. Now, the entire government needed to know. Tahoe sat in the observer section, feeling small among the important officials. His simple archivist uniform stood out among their elaborate ceremonial clothes. He touched the data pad on his lap, still hardly believing what they had found. Minister Sunwoo stood at the center podium. Her voice carried clearly through the huge chamber. Thank you all for coming on such short notice. What I am about to share will change our understanding of our place in the universe. The crowd quieted. Tahoe noticed how tightly everyone sat, how they leaned forward in their seats. The signals archivist Tahoe discovered have been confirmed as artificial in origin, she announced. Yesterday, our scientists successfully decoded a complete message. The assembly fell silent as the translation appeared on the main screen. We come in peace. Those 4 simple words hung in the air. Some representatives gasped. Others stared in disbelief. A low murmur began to spread through the room. Is this some kind of joke? Called out Representative Dongme from the Northern Islands. It is not, replied Minister Sunwoo firmly. The Science Council has verified the findings. The signals contain patterns that cannot occur naturally. They are messages sent to us deliberately. The room erupted with questions. Minister Sunwoo tried to maintain order, but the shock was too great. Tahoe watched as his simple discovery transformed into something that would forever change his world. Director Jiu, sitting near the front, caught his eye and nodded. She had supported him when many others had doubted. After nearly 10 minutes, Minister Sunwoo finally restored order. After confirming the message, we decided to respond. This created another wave of surprised reactions. No one had authorized a response to an alien message. Within hours, a formal response was transmitted using the same encryption method. Sunwoo continued. The reply came almost instantly, as if the senders had been waiting. She touched her control panel, and new words appeared on the screen. Greetings, people of Doran. We are humans from the planet Earth. We have been studying your civilization for 50 years. We believe it is time to meet. Murmurs turned to shouts across the chamber. Minister Sunwoo raised her hands for silence, but it took several minutes for the noise to die down. They've been watching us for half a century. Someone yelled. How is that possible? Tahoe, seated in the observer section, felt a chill. Their entire history of space exploration and technological advancement had been witnessed by unseen eyes. We don't know how they've remained hidden, admitted Minister Sunwoo. But their technology must be far more advanced than ours. What do they look like? Called another voice. We don't know yet, said Sunwoo. They have agreed to send visual data in their next transmission. Representative Mina from the Eastern Forests stood. Minister, this is a security concern. If they've been watching us for 50 years, what else have they been doing? Have they interfered with our development? The question hung in the air. Tahoe thought about the correlation between the signals and their technological breakthroughs. He had shared this with the Science Council, but they had decided to keep that information private for now. We have no evidence of interference, said Sunwoo carefully. Tahoe noticed she didn't deny the possibility. When will they arrive? Asked another representative. They say they are already here, replied Sunwoo. They have a ship in orbit beyond our moon. They request permission to send representatives to meet with us. This caused the loudest reaction yet. The idea that alien visitors were already at their doorstep was almost too much to process. Through the chaos, Tahoe sat quietly. His simple job of organizing old data had led to this moment. He watched as the government argued about how to proceed, what security measures to take, who should meet the visitors. Director Jiu made her way to his seat during the commotion. "You've changed everything," she said softly. "I just found a pattern," Taiho replied. "I was doing my job." "Some jobs matter more than others," she said with a smile. "The council has requested you join the first contact team." Taiho's eyes widened. "Me? But I'm just an archivist." "You're the one who found them," said Jiu. "And they've been watching us for 50 years. Don't you want to ask them why?" Taiho looked back at the screen with the alien message. He did want to know why. And soon, he would have the chance to ask. 50 years earlier on Earth, Dr. Minhee Park sat alone in the monitoring station of the Proxima Deep Space Array. The room was dark except for the blue glow of her screens. It was 3:42 a.m., and most of her team had gone home hours ago. Minhee preferred the night shift. The quiet helped her think. She sipped her cold coffee and continued analyzing the data from star system KX7, now known to her team as the Promising One. For 6 months, they had detected unusual patterns from this system. Most of her colleagues thought they were natural phenomena, plasma waves or radiation bursts, but Minhee wasn't convinced. Something about the regularity bothered her. Natural events weren't this precise. She adjusted her algorithm again and ran the pattern recognition software one more time. The computer hummed softly as it processed the massive dataset. Minhee stretched and walked to the window. The New Mexico desert stretched out below the mountain observatory, beautiful and empty under the moonlight. Her computer beeped. She hurried back, expecting another dead end. What she saw made her freeze. The screen showed a clear pattern, mathematical sequences that couldn't possibly occur in nature. Prime numbers, Fibonacci sequences, perfect geometric ratios. "We've found them," she whispered to the empty room. With shaking hands, she called Dr. Hyun, her project supervisor. Despite the late hour, he answered on the third ring. "Hyun, you need to see this." "Now," she said without greeting. "Minhee, it's almost 4 in the morning. I found proof. The signals from KX7, they're artificial." There was a long pause. "I'll be there in 20 minutes. When Dr. Hyun arrived, his normally neat appearance was disrupted by hastily combed hair and a mismatched jacket. He didn't speak as Minhee showed him the data. "If you're right about this," he said finally. "I am right," Minhee insisted. "Look at the pattern recognition confidence rating, 99.8%. These are messages, Hyun. We're not alone." Within hours, the observatory buzzed with activity. By afternoon, the United Space Coalition had convened an emergency meeting. Representatives from 12 countries gathered in the secure conference room beneath the observatory. Dr. Park presented her findings, showing how the signals from what they now called the Doran system contained mathematical principles that could only be created by intelligent life. "The Dorans appear to be at a critical stage in their development," she explained. "They've mastered nuclear power, but haven't yet achieved interstellar travel. Their technology level is roughly equivalent to Earth in the late 21st century. The room filled with excited chatter. The discovery of an advanced alien civilization presented unprecedented opportunities and risks. Admiral Chen of the Chinese Space Administration spoke first. "We should establish contact immediately. Think of what we could learn from them." "No," countered Dr. Hyun firmly. "We cannot risk cultural contamination. The Dorans must develop naturally. Our mere contact could devastate their society." The debate grew heated. Some argued for immediate contact. Others wanted to ignore the Dorans completely. Minhee listened to everyone, then stood. "I believe there's a middle path," she said. The room quieted. "The Dorans are advanced enough that contact won't destroy them, but they're not ready for the full truth yet." She pulled up projections on the main screen. "But we can guide them," Minhee continued, "subtly assist their development through encoded knowledge. Mathematical principles that will help them advance more quickly, embedded in signals they'll only detect when they're ready to understand them. The debate lasted for 3 weeks. Politicians argued over who would control the project. Scientists fought about ethical boundaries. Military officials worried about security risks if the Dorans turned out to be hostile. Finally, Operation Silent Observer was approved. A series of stealth satellites were designed and built in record time, using Earth's most advanced cloaking technology. They would be positioned around the Doran system, invisible to Doran detection methods. Minhee was named project director. The day before the first satellite launch, she walked through the busy Mission Control Center, checking final preparations. A junior scientist approached her. "Dr. Park, I've been studying the communication protocols," he said. "The encoded mathematical hints make sense, but I have a question." "Go ahead," Minhee encouraged him. "When will we reveal ourselves?" The young scientist asked. "When will we tell them we're here?" Minhee looked at the main screen, which showed the beautiful blue-green planet of Doran, swirling with clouds and oceans not unlike Earth. "When they discover us," she replied with a small smile. "When they're ready." The first satellite launched the next day. Then another and another. For 50 years, humans watched the Dorans grow and develop. Minhee's subtle mathematical hints helped the Dorans advance faster than they might have alone. And she waited patiently for the day when a curious Doran would notice the patterns and understand what they meant. The neutral meeting station orbited between Doran and the newly arrived human vessel. It had been built in just 15 days, a remarkable achievement for Doran engineering. The station was simple but functional, designed specifically for this historic moment. Tahoe adjusted his formal uniform nervously. Just 3 weeks ago, he had been a simple archivist. Now he stood beside Minister Sunwoo and First Commander Bora, waiting to meet beings from another world. His discovery had changed everything. "Remember," Minister Sunwoo whispered, "say nothing unless asked directly. Let me handle the discussion." Tahoe nodded. Through the viewport, he could see the human ship. It was sleek and silver, unlike the bulky Doran vessels. It seemed to shimmer slightly, as if it wasn't fully solid. "They're docking now," announced Commander Bora. Her hand rested on her weapon, a precaution the Council had insisted upon. The airlock hissed and cycled. Tahoe held his breath. The door slid open. 3 humans entered, smaller than expected, with no facial ridges and too much hair. Their skin varied in color from pale to dark brown. Their eyes were fixed forward in their faces, not on the sides like Doran eyes. They looked both familiar and alien at the same time. The lead human, a female named Captain Juwu, according to the preliminary communications, stepped forward. She wore a blue uniform with silver markings. "On behalf of Earth, we extend friendship to Doran," she said in perfect Doran language, her pronunciation flawless. Minister Sunwoo's facial ridges twitched in surprise. "We welcome you to Doran space," she replied formally. "I am Minister Sunwoo. This is Commander Bora and Archivist Tahoe, who first discovered your signals." Captain Juwu smiled at Tahoe. "The discoverer. We've been waiting for someone like you for a very long time." The meeting moved to the conference room. The humans sat on one side of the table, the Dorans on the other. The initial exchanges were cautious but friendly. Captain Juwu introduced her companions. Dr. Shumno, a scientist, and Ambassador Do-Yun, a diplomatic representative. The initial meeting lasted 7 hours. The humans displayed encyclopedic knowledge of Doran history, culture, and biology. They spoke the language flawlessly and understood social customs better than many young Dorans. "You know so much about us," Minister Sunwoo noted. "Yet we know nothing about you." "That will change," said Ambassador Do-Yun. "We're here to share our knowledge now." The humans showed images of Earth, a blue and green world not unlike Doran, but with only one moon. They explained their history, their different nations, their struggles and achievements. Tahoe listened in fascination. These beings had traveled between stars. They had visited numerous worlds. Their technology seemed almost magical. "Why did you wait 50 years to contact us?" Commander Bora asked suddenly. Captain Juwu exchanged glances with her colleagues. "We have protocols for contact with developing civilizations. We wait until they discover us." "But you weren't just watching," said Commander Bora, her voice hardening. "You've been directing our development," she accused. "Those signals, they always appeared before breakthroughs." The friendly atmosphere in the room chilled instantly. Minister Sunwoo looked alarmed at the commander's directness, but did not contradict her. Captain Juwu didn't deny it. She nodded. "We provided mathematical concepts that you were close to discovering. We never gave technology you weren't ready for." "You violated our sovereignty," Sunwoo responded coldly. "We protected it," replied Juwu, her tone serious. "There are others out there, Minister. Not all are friendly." A heavy silence filled the room. Tahoe looked back and forth between the two groups. "What do you mean?" he asked, forgetting his instructions to stay quiet. Captain Juwu turned to him. "The galaxy is full of life, Archivist Tahoe. Many species, many civilizations. Some are peaceful explorers like us. Others," she paused, "others see developing worlds as resources to be exploited or conquered. You're saying you were protecting us?" Minister Sunwoo asked skeptically. "Your world is rich in certain elements rare in our section of the galaxy," explained Dr. Chono. "If you had developed more slowly, you might have been detected by others before you could defend yourselves." "So you accelerated our development," said Commander Bora. "For our own good?" "We guided you along paths you were already following," corrected Ambassador Doyan. "We didn't change your destiny. We just helped you reach it faster." Tahoe caught the subtle exchange of glances between the humans. They weren't telling everything. "There's more, isn't there?" he asked directly. "Another reason you've been watching us." Captain Juwu studied him for a long moment, then nodded slowly. "Yes, Archivist. There is much more. Something is coming. Something that threatens us all." 3 days after first contact, Doran's orbital monitoring system detected the asteroid. The emergency alert woke Tahoe from a deep sleep. His communication device flashed red in the darkness of his room. The message was brief. "Report to Central Command immediately." When he arrived, the command center was in chaos. Scientists and military personnel rushed between workstations. Large screens showed the same image from different angles, a massive rock tumbling through space directly toward their world. Minister Sunwoo spotted him and waved him over. Her face was tight with worry. "Archivist Tahoe, we need your analysis skills," she said. "The computers are running projections, but we need someone to find patterns we might have missed." Tahoe worked through the night with the science team. By morning, the news was grim. The asteroid was huge, nearly 20 kilometers across. It was moving fast, and it was composed of unusually dense material. "Our deflection technology is insufficient," Tahoe reported grimly to the emergency assembly later that day. "Even if we use every rocket we have, we can only change its course by a few degrees. Not enough to miss our planet." The room fell silent. Extinction stared them in the face. "Ours isn't," said Captain Juwu, who had been invited as an observer. She stood up from her seat at the back of the room. "We have technology we haven't shared yet. Gravity manipulation far beyond your current capabilities." All eyes turned to the human, some with hope, others with suspicion. Commander Bora's eyes narrowed. "More secrets. Technology must be earned, not given," Juwu replied calmly. "But exceptions exist for extinction-level events." The debate was short. Faced with certain destruction, even the most suspicious Dorans agreed to accept human help. Within hours, the human ship moved into position. Tahoe watched from Central Command as the silver vessel positioned itself between Doran and the approaching asteroid. It seemed impossibly small against the massive rock. "What can such a small ship do against something so big?" whispered a technician next to him. Then it happened. A field of distorted space appeared around the human ship, visible only as a slight bending of the starlight behind it. The field expanded, growing larger and larger until it enveloped the asteroid. For 3 tense days, the human ship maintained the field. Slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, the asteroid's path began to curve. The projected impact point moved, first from the center of Doran to its outer continents, then to its oceans, then beyond the planet altogether. On the 4th day, the asteroid passed harmlessly through the Doran system, missing the planet by millions of kilometers. The celebration lasted for days. The humans were heroes. Suspicion turned to gratitude. Closed doors opened. Cultural exchanges that had been proceeding cautiously now accelerated. A week after the asteroid passed, the Doran government hosted a ceremony to formally thank the humans. Afterwards, Tahoe found himself alone with Captain Juwu on the observation deck of the space station. Below them, Doran shone like a blue jewel. "Your world is beautiful," said Captain Juwu. "Worth saving." Tahoe nodded. "We owe you our lives." "You would have done the same for us." Tahoe wasn't sure that was true. His people had been so suspicious of the humans, so angry about their secret observation. Would they have saved Earth if the situation were reversed? He finally asked the question that had been on his mind since the beginning. "Why did you watch us for so long without making contact?" Captain Juwu was quiet for a moment, looking out at the stars. "The galaxy is more complex than you know," she answered finally. "We've been doing this for centuries, finding developing civilizations, guiding them, protecting them. Not just us. Many older species do this." "Why?" asked Tahoe. "Because there's a coalition forming, Tahoe. Species united against something coming from the galactic core." Tahoe felt a chill. "What's coming?" "We don't know exactly," she admitted. "But the oldest civilizations have detected something moving between the stars, something that leaves dead worlds in its wake. And you need us." "We need everyone," she said simply. "Every mind, every perspective, every unique evolutionary path. The more diverse our coalition, the better chance we have of finding a solution. And now you're ready to join us." Tahoe looked back at his homeworld below, seeing it with new eyes, not as the center of the universe, but as one world among countless others, part of something greater. "I believe we are," he said. 2 days later, the Doran Council voted unanimously to join the Galactic Coalition. Tahoe was appointed as their first representative. His first job would be to visit Earth and learn about humanity directly. As his shuttle prepared to dock with the human ship that would take him to their world, Tahoe thought about how much had changed in just a few weeks. He had gone from a simple archivist to a cosmic explorer. His people had gone from believing they were alone to joining a community of stars. And somewhere in the galaxy's core, something was coming. But they would face it together. The end.